welcome everybody to Write Better Together. I'm Jon Meyers. Hey, look, everybody, it's Matisko. Today's the day we get to look in her refrigerator.
Yay!
Oh, yes.
We finally made it.
The moment I've been waiting for.
Towards the end, you have to watch the whole episode to see the fridge.
Hey, what are we up to today?
We have quite the list of things to do, and we have very exciting things to talk about.
Yes.
We have a very cool guest coming on too, which will be fun. All right. So, but first, we have to do the viewer response. That's first. And then we're going to talk to Kelly Beck, and she's going to tell us about all her wonderful rom-com books and how she uses Substack and helps newer and younger authors in the publishing space, which is awesome. She's very sweet. And then we're going to do Hey Jon Meyers, which is the worst one. I saved worst for last. After that, we'll look in the fridge, and then it'll be time for the final act.
You're so good at this, man.
I'm just reading off the list you gave me. Quite the list.
Well, tell your out of the bubble story while I look for the viewer response.
You don't have the viewer response?
I have one, but I don't know what I wrote it down. Oh man.
Okay. Well,
okay, go ahead.
So for my out of the bubble story, my fiance and we went to Milwaukee yesterday to see Linkin Park, which is if you're edgy and depressed, you've probably stumbled across Linkin Park music at some point in your life, regardless of your age. And so we went. It was really fun. We went early because I'm anxious and I like to show up to places early, like way before we needed to be there. The doors opened at 6. We were there at 3. To like get dinner, walk around. I gotta see all the places. Like I have to do like a lap around because I get nervous. And I have to make sure that we're in the right place. Because what if it wasn't in the Pfizer arena like it said it was? What if it was somewhere else and I had to find somewhere else? You know. So that's how we do it. And we made a fun day. We walked along the river. It was really cute. But it was also really cold. It was like 65 degrees, and I was wearing like a cute little black dress, and so I had to buy the merch because I was so cold. So I got a really nice hoodie. I could show you, but it's over there. Over there. But a really nice hoodie, and it was very warm, and that was nice. But then right when I got the hoodie, because I was freezing, they let us inside early. And I was like, oh my gosh. There goes $90 I won't get back. Anyway.
Because it was freezing? They let you in early, or they just
I think so. I think because it was a little cold.
How big of a place is this in Milwaukee?
This is the Pfizer Arena, so this is where the Bucks play. So it's a basketball stadium. I think they call those
30,000 people?
Probably. And so we go in, we find our seats, and I like to find my seats immediately because, again, I need to see where I'm going to be to stop being anxious. My fiance is very nice, so he accommodates all my weird things. And so we're sitting there. We sat there for so we're in there. It's 6 o'clock. We're in our seats. Show starts at 7:30, right? But I have to sit in the seat for like a half an hour just to get my bearings and look around. And then he's kind of like, let's go walk around. We can go look at things. I'm like, there's not much to look at. It's just food and the merch, and I've already got my merch. He's like, yeah, but we should go look around. So we go and we look around. And a lady who works there gets up behind us and she goes, hey, do you guys need help finding your seats, or do you know where you're sitting, or are you sitting up here? Oh, and I'm like, oh, don't worry, we know where we're sitting. We're just on a little walk. And she's like, would you like to move down to the ground floor?
Oh.
And I was like, yeah. And I couldn't even talk. So it was my fiance who's like, yeah, that's great. Because I'm just so stunned. And so she's sitting there. She has a stack of tickets. She whips them out. And she's like, let's find you good seats. And then she was just sorting through them, trying to get us aisle seats on the main level. And free of charge, she just has the stack. And so she just sorts through. I'm standing there like this, just terrified that she'll change her mind and we won't get the ticket. So I'm just silently, I don't know if people like the pangolin, that little animal that's stands like this.
Were your original seats in the way back as far as they could be?
Not the way back, but the cheapest seats that are decent. So up in the 200s. So
stand-ups will do that. Stand-ups will take 10% of tickets and buy out part of the front and do exactly what you just said and go up to the worst seats or the balcony seats or whatever. Mm-hmm. And people that get there early get to move down front. Not all the time, but in big arenas.
Yeah, and so but a lot of the the top was still pretty full. It's not like that many people got to come down. It was just like we were selected. I'm not usually very lucky, so I was just like, this is nuts. And so I called her the angel lady because she just showed up. It was so nonchalant. She just whips out the tickets and just gets them and is like, you'll like these seats. And I'm like, okay. And then she just walked away. And I was like, how do you get that job? Where you're the lady who gives people the better seats?
Everyone loves you.
Yeah, like that's a great job. So then we got to be down on the floor, so we got much better seats in terms of like closeness, and so that was really amazing and very positive.
And were they on the aisle?
Yeah, because and that was the crazy part, which made me feel like this was all insane. We had aisle seats originally as well, so that we could, and it was angled,
right.
So we looked over the aisle.
Right.
And she didn't know that. But we got the exact same seats, but on the other side, angled so that you can see over the aisle, but on the floor or like towards the ground. And I was just like, she didn't know that, but she got us like very like, and so that was a major upgrade in terms of like cost. And so we watched the concert. It was great. The opening act was good. You're giving me a hard time about not knowing who the opening act was, but it was pretty good. And
I didn't give you a hard time.
You give me a hard time. And so that was fun. And then there was like the little delay before Linkin Park came on. And then Linkin Park came on, and it was awesome.
And you like the new singer?
Yeah, she's great. I would say Break, she sang better than like the recording version, just because of like how her voice is. I thought that was really impressive. So it still had like the spirit that it should have, even though the lead singer's changed. But I think it was really good, and I had a good time. I did a little swaying. I sang because they wanted you to sing along. But yeah, we were talking about, because I think like, we're talking about being dyslexic. So one of the things my brain can't do is if a song starts playing, I can tell you I know the song, but I'll have no idea what it is. So they did something that kind of bothered me, where they would be like, oh, everyone knows this song, and they'd hold the mic out because everyone started singing it. But I know the song, but my brain can't tell me what the words are until I start hearing the words. And so I'm like, oh, now I feel like a fake fan. But it's just like my coding, which is what I'm weak in. It's like I recognize things, but I can't turn them into meaning.
Are you and your fiance equal fans, or are you a bigger fan?
I would say I'm a bigger fan because I battle depression. I would say he was like listening to Linkin Park when he was a teenager and then kind of grew out of it. And then I've always been edgy and depressed, and so Linkin Park always speaks to me. You know?
So there's so much there. First of all, the thing about getting there early and scoping out the territory, Emily and I had a whole talk about that, because when we go to conference, like, and I'll do that when I go this weekend, it's in the Skirvin Hotel, and we've always been in a different hotel. So go a day early, scope out where all the rooms. A day
early.
Well, when I can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
like, if it was in your case, I would go like what you did, 3 hours early. Make sure I know where to park. Make sure I know where the entrance is. All those things. And I don't know right now, because it's in a same town but different hotel, and I don't know which parking garage. There's two, so I got to go. Yeah, I got to go a day early to figure out which parking garage I'm going to use, and then I knew, if there's 5 different rooms that speakers are speaking in, I knew where all the rooms were in the old hotel. And the new one, I don't. And so I have to go scope all those out. When we were on a little break there, I just got a new session added. And so I don't know what room that one's in yet. And so the other ones, I know what room and I know where they are on the map, but it's different when you're there in person. You want to walk to the room and know where the door is, not just seeing the room in this big conference center on the map. And so, yeah, and Emily does the same thing. Like, get there early. She talked about, she actually had a hesitancy of, oh no, that wouldn't happen if you drove all the way to Milwaukee. But maybe I'm not up to going into that crowd right now. Like, if it was a conference in her own town or whatever. And so that you didn't have to deal with that. And then 2 was your, like, when we talked about when another actor comes in and plays the same role, right? And so you came in and played the role as a guest host, and then what's her face? Oh, what's her name? Starts with a K. the new lead singer of Linkin Park. She's permanently permanently as long as she lasts. She's permanently in the new role because the old one can't come back because he's dead.
Yes.
And
tragically so as well.
Yeah, and so that those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah, she did a great job though. I mean, I will say in terms of like getting nervous, like with my health problems and stuff, I get really nervous when I have a big event like that where like my body has to be capable of being there. So I get like I was nervous before we showed up. It's like, what if I can't stand? What if like I get hot and I start to like get faint? But my fiance is like, it'll be fine. And if it is, the only person's time you can ruin is yours. So we'll just do our best. You know, like no one else would care if you leave early.
So it's been a while since you've been to a show, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, I avoided going to concerts for most of my life because epilepsy runs in my family and the lights are like dangerous. But with my health problems, I got like a EKG, and so I have epileptic tendencies, but they aren't triggered by lights. And so now I can go with confidence knowing that even if they do flashy lights, which they did do, many a flashy light, I'll be okay. Which is
Do you have a trigger warning on the tickets?
What do you mean?
Sometimes there's a trigger warning on the tickets.
I think when you bought them, there was a warning. But then I remember being like, haha, I don't have to worry about that anymore. You know?
We have flashy lights in my church. And
oh, yeah?
94 decibels in the back row. And so it's the rock and roll church. And so, yeah, that's all I'll say about it. So much. So you are not alone in liking her. I don't know. I don't want to say you liked her better, but there are people online who like her better.
I think some songs it was like similar, and it's like, yeah, it still gets the vibe. So it's very much so like a replacement. But then there were moments where I was like, whoa, that is actually that's really giving. Like it's giving the, and so like her screaming sometimes was like, okay, that's really pushing it. And I didn't get the opportunity to see the other lead singer in concert, so I can't compare it. I can only be like, in concert, this kind of music is really something else because she performed it so well. I can only compare her to her, you know, in that environment.
True.
So, and then we were kind of like talking about it because like my fiance and I, we were talking about what it must be like to perform those songs with a different lead singer for the band. You know, because it's like they're all so emotional and intense, and you know.
What about when they perform? Like if this happens too, the lead singer dies, and they just perform the songs without the lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't replace him, but they just continue on for 20 years without him.
I mean, it is a difficult situation, and we were looking up details. Like one of like the more original guitar players, they don't tour, but they're still in the band. So like he wasn't there, and the drummer left when the old main singer died, and so it's kind of like, but as long as they have Shinoda or however you say his name, they're pretty much Linkin Park.
I love that you went to Milwaukee instead of Chicago.
It was significantly cheaper, and we would even like with that we were going to sit closer with like the high because like it is a smaller stadium than Chicago, so it was cheaper and we'd be slightly closer. That's why we picked it, and it's not that much further,
right?
And so cool. I was like, and then we thought about also going to Detroit, you know, just to avoid the Chicago prices because they were quite inflated. But yeah, that was my getting out of the bubble. It was a big one.
You made the right choice.
Yeah, because the angel lady found me and gave me the better ticket. So obviously I made the right choice in arena. And that's what I called her. I like freaked out and I was like, for like basically until the concert started an hour later, I was just like geeking out about this lady whose job it is to like bless people.
What if she really was an angel?
I'm honestly a little bit suspicious because like she gave us incredibly similar seats without knowing like what our seats were, but like just much closer.
Did you ever see her again?
No.
See,
I was like looking. I was like, "Where is she? I'm gonna say thank you." Like as we were like walking out.
When she first approached you,
she approached us from behind, so we were walking and like chit chatting, and then she like spoke to us, and we are like, "Hello."
Were her first words, "Do not be afraid"?
No.
Oh, that'd have been the telltale sign right there.
No.
Awesome.
No. So what about you?
Now do we get to look in the refrigerator?
No. How'd you get out of your bubble?
Oh. Went to the mailbox. I said I went to the mailbox.
I heard you. What's the next part?
I got 9 of these, man.
9? Why'd you get so many?
I'm gonna make you watch me open all 9 envelopes.
Okay.
This is crazy. First of all, this one I just opened is Emily's new book. So I have to, or it's actually her old book, but it's finally in paperback. So I have to show the Redeemed Imagination. Buy it in paperback right now, and it can go up on the shelf now. And but yeah, and so this is amazing. Shout out to Eric.
And it came separately.
Do what?
You bought 9 of the same book, and it came separately.
No,
they didn't.
No. But this next part of this story is what the other 8 were. So shout out to Eric at KDP. People like to badmouth KDP. I've actually dealt with 2 Erics. Both were great. One was with a K and one was without a K. He's a new viewer, Eric.
Oh, that's exciting. Hi, Eric.
And I invited him to watch. I told him it'd be in a bit. And you know how when you make a change, you can't get author copies for a day or 2, right?
Right, yeah.
And so I knew that, but I was told by a first level KDP person, so there's a learning lesson in here, a first level KDP person, that there are things that don't trigger. They trigger a soft review, but not a hard review. And so one of those is changing categories, right? And so if you change false. So I changed categories when Pantomime Horses came out, and it triggered a hard review. Didn't change cover, didn't change a single word inside. All I did was change categories. And so I needed more books. So I already had my initial author copy order, but I needed more for this conference. And so I called, and people like to complain about KDP. When you get to leadership, when you get to the supervisor level, just skip over the first level people and just keep demanding the move get escalated. I have yet to have a bad experience with it with a higher up person, but this Eric was amazing, and he was asking about the podcast. He was asking about we talked for an hour and a half, man. And so and all I wanted was
he'd be a great person to come on the pod.
I invited him on, and he's like, I can't, conflict of interest.
Rip.
And but yeah, I did. I invited him on, and I agree. And so hour and a half, he solved some other little things, like something was out of whack, and just like, and then Author Central, for people that don't know, is a different group of managers or a different group of supervisors than he's like, well, I'm high enough level. I can go over there and do that. And so he's like, let me put you on hold for a couple minutes. And he did whatever the thing over there was that he needed. Or he called someone and got it done. But by the time I was done, an hour and a half later, I had 0 problems. And then he even though he couldn't lift the hard review. But he's like, I can still send you more author copies. Let me do that. And he's like, well, this is weird. I was only getting 18 more because I already had ordered a bunch. And he's like, this is weird. It won't let me do 18, but I can do 10 and 8. And so he did 10 and 8. And so long story short, other than Emily's book, one envelope had 1 in them, one had 3 in them. There was a box with 6 in them. But so there were 8. He didn't do this, right? But there were 8 different packages that had those extra 18 books in there. But they got here in time. That with his got here. I ordered mine on the 7th, and he did that on the 11th. 4 days later, his got here on the same day as mine did. So he was able to leapfrog. Leapfrog over 4 days out of the process.
Wow.
And that's my out of the bubble story is shout out to Eric. I'm not gonna do the unboxing because they're not all in one. They're like it's not as impactful as if I had 50 books all in one in box. So I'm not gonna do the unboxing on the camera. So there you go. That's my out of the bubble story. I have one more thing
for out of the bubble.
Yes. Do you see what I saw when I was on?
Is that your car? I see the octopus. Octopus is in there.
Yeah, the grumpy, happy octopuses are in that car when I was on my stupid walk, #stupid walk. But there's one on each. There's a passenger one, and there's a driver's side one.
Funny. So they can
so while they're on a trip, whoever these people are, they're like going to have an argument with their octopuses.
Passive aggressive octopus size.
They're both on Smiley to the road, which means they're grumpy to the inside the car.
No, they're grumpy like inside them.
Oh, that's true.
You flip them inside out. So they're happy. Both those people are happy. Wonderful news.
Correct. And then those are on our page, by the way, if people need to buy the happy grumpy octopus. There's my car in the background if you want to see what my car looks like.
Get doxed. Is that a what do they call it? Convertible?
Yeah. Who's this guy next to the octopus?
I'll give it a second. Ooh, those have a name, but they're cool. He's just angry.
I know. He's very angry next to the happy octopus.
Yeah. Happy Rage. That's me at the Linkin Park concert.
So I thought for sure you'd know who that gray, yellow-eyed grump guy was.
It's a specific like salamander that people really like. It has a specific name. And there's like a big problem where a bunch of people got them as pets and then mistreated them and then like abandoned them, and it's like really bad. And then the trade of getting them in the first instance is bad, but I can't remember what they're called currently.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, that's why they made like a little octopus of it, just because it was like a popular trend to get that as a pet, but then it went really sad.
Well, the octopus is happy. Grumpy gray guy is not happy.
Yep. So we have 2 options here. I kind of want to know which poem struck you in my poetry book.
Oh.
And I also want to do viewer response, so I don't know which one you want to do first.
Well, I cheated. I went past page 28. I went 2 more extra pages.
That's okay. I'm not gonna be mad.
And I'm glad I did. And page 30, my favorite.
Just it hurts. What's it say at the bottom? I can't remember. I can't see it either. It blurred.
It hurts. Spacebar, 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 spacebar.
It's called. Wait, my earbuds fell.
Enter.
It's called using the page. We were talking about using the page, but in poetry, it's a visual experience. All right.
Hold on. It hurts. Enter. Not that anyone cares.
Mm-hmm.
I do the same thing in my first novel that's not out yet. The World Awaits Your Creative Genius, and I do it in Pantomime Horses, where it's not just a sentence and then a whole, but I use the whole page, and then down at the bottom is my commentary, my response to what happened up there, and addressing the reader just as you address the reader. I love that you use the whole page. that really hit me. Those, I don't even, what is it, 8 words, 7 words? That really hit me. I also understand better. So there you go.
Yeah, all right.
Still, cool. No one's checked it out since 1978, though. Sorry.
Bummer for me.
I've been hoarding it, though. So it's
since 1978.
So it's my fault.
All right. What about the viewer response? We get anything fun?
I saw the response is missing.
Still?
I have one, but here's a viewer response. I'm going to read you a review of my book. How's that?
Okay.
In the interview, y'all don't care about reviews, and
no, they're dangerous to look at. It's not that we don't care. They're just, if you get a bad one, it can be something
Bob,
else.
former guest host Bob Sines, celebrity screenwriter Bob Sines, he frames his 1-star reviews and puts them up in his office. That's a good way to take agency over them.
No.
What do you mean no?
That sounds horrible. Some of them are funny. I've gotten some funny 1-star reviews where I'm just like, I feel like you left a 1-star review just to be funny, and this is kind of funny, but it does drag down my rating because I don't have like 15,000 reviews. I have like a few dozen. So
do you celebrate benchmarks? Oh, I got my 50th review. Oh, I got my 100, like anything like that?
Or... I don't celebrate anything ever. What are you talking about? You know who I am. Do I sound like someone who'd celebrate something?
Have you not watched this show before, Jon Meyers? I really do have a viewer response that I can't find. But this is from a viewer.
Okay.
Emily gave me a review on good. She said the final sentence of her review was, "Every sentence is a work of art." Oh my goodness. We've done episode after episode after episode of I don't make art, I make product.
Yeah.
And then sometimes product coincidentally, or not coincidentally, you don't believe in coincidence, but sometimes product turns into art, but that's for the audience to decide, right?
Right.
That's not, I don't make art, I make product. But then she is the audience to declare that every sentence is a work of art. And so I guess I have to embrace that. I guess I have to like that, right?
Yeah. Do you not want to be making art?
I make product, man.
That's so weird. I can't imagine living like that, to be honest.
But I like, well, if you're a screenwriter, it's like you sell it to someone who makes it. You don't make it. And then people go watch it that you don't ever meet half the time, right? And so it's just a product up on the screen. Now, that is a little more personal because it's a book. But
yes.
All right, here we go. Finally, my first review on Pantomime Horses of London, Kentucky. How many times can I hold it up in one episode? You should be holding your books up, man.
It's okay. It's behind you. They know who I am. They just have to Google my name. My book's
S. Period. Matisko.
Yep.
With a K.
Yep.
This is a real gem of a book. Tiny but perfectly formed. I loved everything about it. The characters within this confined micro-universe of a gastropub. The gentle, observational, and slightly eccentric humor with a U. Spelled properly with a U. Even the chapter headings, which alone are worth the money I paid. Wow. I want more. Please write another one. Well, we'll see about that last part.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thank you, French woman. I appreciate that. There you go. That's our viewer response. Someone responding.
That's very nice. I'm glad you got a good review.
So when you make, well, now your poetry book, yes, you might say yes to the art. So when you wrote your novels, you didn't sit down and go, I'm creating a work of art? Or did you?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I'm just making art. I don't make stuff that like sells. I think of it more as like an experience than a product. Like I want to give someone a nice experience or give them nice thoughts. And to me, that's more an art thing, like where you like observe and take something in, and then the other person has a response. I'm trying to get a response out of someone. I'm not just trying to give them something, like a thing.
Well, I get that, but I bristle at just because you're making a product, it doesn't mean you're doing it for the money. You're
saying it's a
you're
thing.
saying you're doing it for the money. It's an entity. It's
yes.
a thing, but I want to evoke emotions with my thing that I'm making.
Yeah, but like if you're making a pottery, that's still art. You're still trying to make someone look at the pot and go, "Wow, nice."
That's or it feels good. It has good mouth feel when you put it up to your lips, or it feels good in your hand. When here's another out of the bubble. I went to art in the park this weekend because I was inspired by Signa and seeing just being surrounded by an artist for that whole day. To me, those are artists.
You don't think people who write aren't artists? Is that your claim?
I'm not saying that you're not.
Because that's an insane claim. Just so you know.
I'm saying that Janet Ivanovich would not call herself an artist. She makes product. And then some people, it can elevate. Not every script. I'm more familiar with scripts, right? Not every the script to Porky's 2 is not art. But there are screenwriters who go, I'm going to write Porky's 3. I'm making my art. No, you're not. You're making a product.
Yes, but I'm not writing Porky's 3.
Okay, but but some people could say when Stephen King's Carrie came out, it wasn't a work of art. Now people would say that it is. Or
yeah, is art what other people decide?
I think so.
Interesting. I think art is what you're making, like as you're doing it.
Well,
it's like the process. So like if while you're like creating the thing, you're like having like a deep emotional response to like creating it. I think that is a sign that it's art and not just a thing. Like when I was designing food products, it took none of my emotion other than stress and tears, right? Because I'm like, why isn't this working? This is so aggravating. I'm just trying to make this high protein fruit pop work, and it's not working, and it's not art. It's just a product that I intend on selling, right? Or in my case, getting an A on. But when I'm making my book, I'm creating emotion. I'm doing something with it, not just making something to be sold. You see the difference? Maybe that's why, because when I think product, my brain goes to what I was making for like my like food science training. That's a product.
I think there's more people who agree with you than agree with me. I'm revisiting my former answer. I think it's not always the audience. I think what Signa makes is art.
Do you think what I make is art?
I think your poetry is. I haven't read the books. I think
interesting.
I think it could. I think it can elevate to the level of art. If when Kurt Vonnegut was alive, and let's say he has, I don't know how many novels he has. Let's say he has 20 novels. Are all 20 of them on new release day? Are they all a work of art?
Yes.
On the first day?
A child's painting is art.
All right. Are all 30 Janet Ivanovich, Stephanie Plum books, they're all a work of art on new release day?
I have no idea because I wasn't there. But like, what matters is when you're making it. And so I don't understand why you think if something's good, it's art. There's bad art. There's loads of bad art.
Well, there's products that don't make money too.
Yes.
You connect product to money.
No, product is, it's about what your motivating force is. Like while you're making it.
All right. So when is writing not art then in your definition?
Writing's
advertising
not
copy.
Art if you're making it to sell it, to make money, and you don't really care about it. You're just trying to make it based on the rules that you've learned because you've been taught everything you're supposed to do to get a book to sell well, and you're going to do those things, but you don't really care. You're just crafting the perfect thing, the perfect product, but none of the emotions in it. It's just skill.
I do think if you say that it's art, it can be art.
What do you mean you? Who's you?
You, the creator. I think you can. I think you can say I think you have the right to define your own books. I think you can say my books are art, and But I don't think every writer is going to say their books are art.
And there might not be. Because if they didn't make it with that level of like intensity and like passion while they're doing it, then maybe it's not.
So this is deceptively simple. When she says every sentence is a work of art, I know what she means, because like how Sickna's book that's not a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
This little tale, this little story has much deeper meaning if you let your brain go there. Just like Jack and the Beanstalk is really about a boy who can't please his mom, not the boy that steals the golden goose and defeats the giant. And so yeah, the audience determines if it's art or not, or if they read it at surface level.
I think
all right.
The audience determines whether they like the art or not. That's it.
Have you seen the Guardian the Guardian ad for the Guardian newspaper of Three Little Pigs?
No,
and,
I don't.
And the wolf
newspapers. It's 2025.
No, this is for their website, and it's probably 10 years old, but it won like every advertising award, and so clearly it was made to attract people to the Guardian's website, but it's a work of art. And so it has elevated. It won awards like at Cannes and
yeah. Well, I think people can make art and be getting paid to do it, and so someone with skill and probably a bit of passion and interest in whatever they were making, were able to make something that does well. It's not that all art doesn't sell.
It's a commercial.
Yeah, I know.
But it turns into art.
But somebody made it.
But not every commercial is art.
Quite a few are, which is
there are more examples than that one, but that was the first one that came to my mind. All right, so is a cereal box art?
Sometimes they put art on cereal boxes, yeah.
Okay, there's a box of Arctic Blue Captain Crunch I'm looking at over there. I'm not going to get up and go get it. I can put that in the museum next to the Mona Lisa.
Probably not next to the Mona Lisa, given how you would want to make the museum flow. But I could very easily see an art exhibit that's cereal boxes themed. Someone could, use the cereal boxes to make something more or whatever. But that's very modern art-y to just put a box of cereal and be like, look at how this is. You know, and you're like, oh wow, look at how that is. So, I mean, I really think intention matters a lot here, and I feel like that's just not getting through to you, like at all.
Wow.
So, like, we've gone over it like 6 or 7 times, and it's just not.
How many times do I have to tell you, Jon Meyers?
We're just not getting anywhere with it. So it's like very clear that we disagree. You think other people determine art. I think art comes from within someone.
I think other people determine art when it's not intended to make art. But I said that an artist can declare it art. I don't think whether someone buys whatever Sickna made today, it's a piece of art because she's an artist and she's declared it art. Your books can be art because you've declared them art. My books can not be art.
It can be, but when we first started, you hesitated. You were like, well, I don't know. I haven't read them. So you said you get to decide.
I'm growing,
whether or not my books are art.
I'm not allowed to grow? I'm growing in the last 5 minutes.
I don't think you're going to change your mind. I think you're trying to find common ground that doesn't exist.
All right, so last word. My next novel.
Okay.
What's it called? The World Awaits Your Creative Genius. It's a piece of art.
Okay.
It's surreal. It's absurd. I thought you didn't
make art.
It's intentionally a piece of art.
Okay.
But it just sounds so presumptuous to say that, but it's not Three Little Pigs.
I don't know why you think art has to be good. That's the other thing I'm not totally... You're like, oh, it's presumptuous to say I make art. Like, why? Like, making art is a human experience. You know? Like, anyone can make art if they put themselves into it. So it's not presumptuous.
Here's why. Graffiti, I consider graffiti with time to be art. Okay?
Why time?
The intent, well, I'll tell you why. Because an artist can make graffiti intentionally. A vandal can make graffiti just to vandalize Merrill Lynch on Wall Street. No art intended whatsoever. 5 years later, that what they created can be a work of art. And there was no intention of art. It was 100% vandalism.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But it took on new meaning over time, defined by the viewer, me. Oh, do you know what ghost signs are?
No.
Perfect example. Ghost signs, it's a category of folklore, but they're downtown, on the side of a lawyer's office, you'll see there used to be a sign for a car dealership painted on the brick, and there's some in your town. I won't say your town, but there's some in your town where just remnants of some sign from 1903.
Oh yeah, I know that sign.
That's a ghost sign.
Mm-hmm.
Those are art. They were the one that I'm thinking for a Dodge dealership in 1954 that's in my town, that's barely visible on the side of a lawyer's office. It's art now, man. And but it wasn't ever intended to be art, but it is now. I rest my case, Your Honor.
I mean, that is an interesting perspective where, did it become art because it got withered, and so then that is without purpose, and that is about how we're perceiving it.
Time plus appreciation.
Yeah. So I can see that as an argument of a kind of art, but I do think anyone can claim anything they do as art if they're doing it with the right feelings. So if that guy made that sign and was really like, yeah, I'm really into this sign, I like this red, then that's okay.
He's dead now, and if he could watch this, he'd be like, I meant for that to be a work of art.
Maybe he did.
That's the best Chrysler Dodge
back
sign
then
I've ever
he
made.
Probably had to paint it himself. He stood out there for days painting that mural.
True.
So to say that it wasn't art when he made it is kind of sad.
That's the best Chrysler Dodge logo anyone's ever painted on the side of a building.
Yeah, Signa likes horses. Maybe he really liked cars and he was passionate about driving the car, drawing the cars. We don't know. So we can decide something's art to us. I think it's always to us. Someone else might disagree with you.
That's what I said. The audience.
That's just an old thing, right?
That's what I said. The audience determines if it's art.
We're deciding if it's good or bad art, and sometimes when it's bad art, we say it's not art, which isn't true. Maybe there's more art in the world than we are able to perceive on a daily basis.
If your food science fruit pop is beautiful, can it be art?
I would say no, because when I was making it, I made it with hate.
You can't make graffiti art with hate?
But not that kind of hate. That's an emotional expression. For me, it was just ugh, I gotta get my grade. I don't want to be doing this. I have no interest in this.
Is this tiny palette art?
I have no idea. To me, probably not.
Okay. But if I handcrafted it with love to
then
sell
maybe.
At the art show,
then maybe.
All right, we've solved the problem of art versus product.
We didn't at all. But cool of you to lie on stream. Anyway, this doesn't have a lot to do with our guest that we never introduced.
Kelly Beck.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about her?
I think we skipped a whole topic. We didn't talk about the part of the job that's making the Insta Reels and the TikToks and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to ask her, Kelly, if you're watching this, I was going to ask you how you make the choice of sometimes you're jumping on a trend and there's music playing and you got words on the screen and you're typing. Other times you're diegetic where the music is in the clip is part of what's happening in the clip as opposed to background music. And then other times you're just dressing us. I want to know about the decisions between those 3 types.
Yes.
What's your opinion as someone who does them?
I do make those. It's just whatever the frick I feel like. You know? I'm like, yeah, I have something to say. And it's just kind of long-winded. So I'm just going to talk. Like, it's like, I'm just chatting. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, I like this trend. I could go with a reel that maybe will perform a little better. So if I have like a trending audio that works better for that kind of thing, for outreach for people who don't automatically follow me. So yeah, no, it's what I feel like. And that's how I keep the excitement up when I'm making that kind of content, because as we know, I don't like to market very much. And so if I tried to make a like chit-chatty reel where I just talk when I'm not in the mood to, it won't work.
Just consider it art. Just pretend like you're making art.
No.
Okay, don't.
Okay. So anyway, I guess we're going to have Kelly back on and we're going to talk about a bunch of cute stuff. You excited?
I am excited.
Okay, here she comes.
And we're back. Hey, everybody, I'm still Jon Meyers. It's still S. Matisko. Who's this other person?
My name is Kelly Beck.
Hey, Kelly Beck. Who are you and why are you here? Where are you? First of all, where are you? There's a window behind you. Who? What's outside the window? Who, like...
There's a bird feeder on it, some trees. I'm actually based in Memphis, Tennessee.
That's kind of what I was asking. We know you're an author. We know you're a former TV producer.
Yeah.
In Nashville, is that right?
Yeah. I kind of went all over Tennessee, but Nashville, Memphis, Jackson.
And tell us about your books that are out for sub, and then we're gonna dive in to the real nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty. I have 3 books, about to be 3 books on submission. The first one is a contemporary romance about a news producer. Shocker, wonder where I got that inspiration from. Who kind of gets tied into a scandal and blacklisted. So she hides out at a goat farm. It's a very fun little rompy rom-com. The second one is a more serious women's fiction novel. It's about a tortured artist who gets pulled back home to take care of grandma, and she has to like confront all the demons she left behind. It's kind of a lot of like trauma and just learning to love again and forgive and acceptance and all of that. The third one, which goes out soon, is a romantic comedy about, I call it a Dolly Parton wannabe character who robs a bank to get back at a man that scammed her grandma. Only when she's robbing the bank, she thinks nothing through, she realizes the bank teller is her very straight-laced ex-boyfriend who's going to turn her in unless she kidnaps him. So that's what she does and takes him along for a ride.
And that boyfriend's a germaphobe.
Yes, he is. It was really fun.
That was the rabbit trail that led me to you, because I'm a germaphobe.
Yeah, same.
and so I was looking at disability fiction novelists, and that's not really a disability, but it's kind of a hidden disability. And so that's how I wound up discovering who Kelly Beck is. And then lo and behold, I already followed you on Substack under my human being name, not under Write Better Together. And I guess that's where I want to start. Like, we're S. Matisko, not to put words in her mouth, but we were both on Substack, but we never use it. And you use it regularly, and tell us why and convince us why we should.
It's a really great marketing tool. I kind of discovered it because I noticed a lot of agents and editors, like literary agents and editors, were posting their newsletters and stuff there. And just to full transparency, I'm terrible at updating a website. So the idea of like putting a blog on a website makes me want to like seize greater in my brain. So Substack was it's more manageable to me as a website to just go on and like paste your newsletter or whatever you want and send it. And then you can see like who's following you. It's kind of more like Twitter or Instagram or something. Like you can see who's following you. You can interact better. Whereas if I throw it up on a website, I don't know who's reading it. But Substack, people can comment on it. And it was just more user friendly to me. And then selfishly, the agents and the editors and stuff I was trying to get the attention to were on there. So it's like, well, if I have that presence over there, why not?
We are so at Write Better Together. We do a weekly, which is today, Tuesday, and I still don't have it done yet. But we do a weekly newsletter because there's always a new episode, and we talk about whatever books are coming out, but there are authors who do both, and I don't know why they would why do your own newsletter through Constant Contact or MailChimp or whatever and do Substack. I don't know why you would do both. And I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, like I've heard, I mean, the whole thing with like MailChimp or like an email newsletter, like you own those emails. And then
Correct.
I guess, theoretically Substack could go under and I could lose all of that. But I'm a lazy person. I'm just doing Substack for now.
You have 2 kids. You're not a lazy person.
Yeah.
So that's a good point to bring up. And then the other thing, which is no longer true, I think there are people under the impression that it's not searchable. But if I search I would know about it ahead of time. But if I search for Kelly Beck's article on choosing a comp, your Substack story comes up, and so it is searchable.
Yeah, I'd say one of the things like after you write whatever shenanigans you want to write, when you click publish or whatever, there's a page that pops up that asks you to put like tags or keywords or whatever, and similar to like WordPress or any other blogs.
So the real reason that I wanted you all to be on together is Matisko, and she can tell you how and why, kind of stretches the boundaries of the genres that she writes in, and you do as well. And one of the PowerPoints that I worked all night on was about why you don't want to leave out tropes. You have to have tropes for comfort food, for comfort content, and but you want to stretch them, but they still have to be recognizable. So you two talk about that, and I'll watch for a while.
Okay.
You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll start off with I do agree about tropes. I think I use tropes as tools where it takes less effort to get the reader to understand what's going on. And so if you use like everyone's favorite trope, the one bed trope.
Yeah.
If you throw that in there, everyone's just on board and you don't have to do an entire paragraph explaining like the context of what's going on. The second you say one bed, everyone knows what's going on.
Right? I think so of it too as a nod like to the audience that you're marketing to. Like we know one bed at this minute. Like everyone knows what you're in for a one bed trope or whatever.
And so I think tropes are good, but the problem is if you don't move past the tropes, then you're not using the trope. You're just showing that you understand marketing and you understand what people like. But if you don't push past the tropes, you're not using the opportunity of the extra time that it's given you. So that's how I use tropes.
I think I call it, my favorite phrase is like, you don't want a trope salad. Like you don't just want a trope salad book where it's like, well, I can list these 15 tropes, it's only one bed and grumpy sunshine and enemies to lovers, but there's no substance or motivations behind those. Like even an only one bed trope, like I feel like at this point it is kind of a funny nod, especially if you write romance or anything. Like it's funny. It's a moment. We all have it. But there's got to be a reason for it. Like it has to connect with the motivations of your plot and your story. Like for Bank Robber, there's only one getaway car and there is a few only one beds, but they're on the run from the law. Like, there was a normal way to put that in. And I just think you have to put substance behind it. There has to be a reason for that trope. Like if you're doing a grumpy sunshine trope or whatever, well, why? Why are they that way? What's their background? How does it connect to their wounds and their plot and their goals and what they're going to overcome? You have to weave it all through. It can't just be, like you said, something you throw out there for marketing and then you don't get the payoff of it.
If a trope, so you're watching a Hallmark movie and they're in a village, a Christmas village, and there's no village Christmas tree, people will notice it's missing, even though they don't know. They might not know why they notice it. They just know something is missing, but a civilian won't be able to put their finger on. But it just seems off if there are certain things that aren't there. So that's the prime example: is you don't have a Christmas craft show or Christmas village, and there's no town Christmas tree. So what are some tropes that you had to make sure they were in there, even though you did your own twist?
I think it really depends on, like, you have to know what premise you're going into first, and I think that might lend to the tropes. Like, I knew writing this last one, I knew it was going to be silly based on a bank robbery. Like, I knew that was going to be the main thing. And so for me, it was like, well, okay, only one bed has to be in there. Like, there's a natural way for that to go in. And then knowing the characters were going to be so different, like we talked about earlier, Max, my male main character, he's a germaphobe. Well, Stella is the exact opposite. So that kind of lended itself to like, okay, and opposites attract. She's very silly and out there, kind of maybe more of a sunshine character. He can be grumpier because he's an anxious mess half the time. I feel like I don't figure out my trope until I'm done with the book. And maybe that's backwards for most people, but I'm very much one, I'll even have to like text my friends, my beta readers, and be like, can you tell me what tropes are in my book? Because I don't write that way, if that makes any sense. I just kind of go along with whatever shenanigans are in my head, and then reverse. I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's only one bed. That's opposites attract. That's this, that's that. But it takes me a minute to kind of get there.
What do you do, multi-genre woman?
I just do what I think is fun.
Yeah.
So if a trope has interested me in other people's work, it tends to find its way into mine. And so I am also not like purposefully trying to like fill my book with tropes to make it marketable. I just am like, I think this is fun, so I would like to do it.
Do you, Kelly, as Matisko doesn't outline, do you not outline?
No, I'm an outliner. It's the news producer in me.
I was like, team.
I have to outline. It's kind of loose sometimes, but I always call it the roadmap. I have to have the roadmap of like, okay, this is the beginning. This is at least the midpoint. I know this is the third act conflict. I have to at least know the beginning. I don't know, maybe this is like a special skill of mine, but I've never had to rewrite a first chapter. Like the beginning is always the beginning. The middle is pretty much always the middle. I know the third act conflict and I know the end. Like I know how it all resolves. If I don't know at least those things, I get totally mentally blocked and I can't continue. You don't outline at all, Miss Matisko?
No.
Are you a total pantser?
I get visions in my head and then I'm going for the visions. Like I get pictures that I'm trying to generate.
Yeah. Follow the voices.
Yeah, following the voices, yeah.
And I'm a screenwriter first, and so I totally outline. But the one of the reasons I do it is because I don't like to write in order, and so and so when you have a complete outline, so a 112-page script, maybe your outline is 30 pages, 26 pages, 28 pages, right? And you wake up grumpy, and the next scene is this wacky comedy scene, you don't feel like writing it. So that's the day where you write the depressing scene and then there are also times where you only have an hour to write or 15 minutes to write. Well, I need 8 hours to write the midpoint, right? And so when I have a full straight 8 hours with nothing else I have to do, I'm going to write the midpoint because the story's already done. All the heavy lifting's already done in the outline. And so you just do, what do I feel like writing today? I feel like writing Millie and Molly's scene today. I don't feel like writing Charlie and whatever Billy's scene today. So that's why.
It gives me hives. That gives me so many hives.
Yeah,
because
I have to write in order, which ironically, when I was a news producer, would be something they would like get on to me for. They'd be like, just go write the end of the show. But I'm like, the show goes in order. When it starts at 6 p.m., I gotta have the first one going. If I don't have the end of the show done, like I can work on it while I'm in there. But if it's not done, like that's the problem. So no, I still to this day I write in order. I can't skip. I've tried. Like other friends have told me, they're like, just go write the end. You know what it is? Nope, I can't. I go in order. Chapter 1 to the end.
That's why Matisko likes when the show goes in order, which is rare. Normally we do these segments and then I have to piece all the segments together. But she likes it when it goes straight into order like that. That's why. We figured out why.
It gives me hives. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. See?
So the Unhinged Possum book. Yeah. What's it called again?
It is called Steal It with a Kiss, but I feel like at this point it has just got a life of its own. And my agent even pitched it to an editor as like, it's just the really unhinged romance with a pet possum in it. So might need to reconsider.
So while it's out for sub, what are you already working on the next one?
It's my plan, which goes against all advice people will tell you is like, don't work on a series until a series sells. But I just don't listen very well. And that's what we're going to do. So, yeah, I have 2 or 3 books. I call them like a standalone series. So they're kind of companion novels to it. But that's the plan, is to work on those while that's on sub and see what happens.
Are any of them at any amount of them? Well, you're writing in order, so it's not like.
Yeah.
I was like, are any of them, any part of them done of any of them?
I have not started yet. So part of the submission process is you have to give pitches to the editors. So like we'll send out the first book that's finished, and then I'll have to include like, okay, hey, if you were to purchase this as a 2 or 3 book series, this is what book 2 would roughly be about, and this is what book 3 would roughly be about. And I have those pitches finished as of last night. So I haven't actually started writing the book yet, but again, as the plotter, I know beginning, the middle, the end, those things.
And you know the number of them?
I'd like to do 3, but we'll see.
I have a question that I just don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think that strengthens your pitch for publishing or weakens it? The fact that you're claiming for like a series or like 3 standalones that like work together. Do you think that makes them more or less likely to take it?
Both. Publishing is so fickle. Like if they love something enough, they'll buy whatever. You know what I mean? And then I've also heard the advice of like, well, they don't want to take a risk on a series because if the first book doesn't do well, then, but that's why they're called like these interconnected standalones. So each book could stand by itself. Like you wouldn't have to read them in order, but if you did, you would notice like, the nods to each other.
What will you, so when you start writing number 2, this is actually in one of the writing, so I'm the Monday host. I'm the only American host on Into the Scripts, which is a screenwriting group in the UK. And on Mondays, it's my day. And this is what we talked about yesterday, or what, I don't even know what day it is, but on Monday. So what we talked about on Monday was how much time do you spend reintroducing. You're writing Stephanie Plum, and there's 30 of them. At what point, like, there are people that join in book 15. So how much do you reintroduce the 3 main characters or the core 4? How much time do you spend? How much time are you going to spend, Kelly Beck?
This is not the question. We'll find out. No. So with these being like interconnected standalones, and I feel like romance is a little different in this, is that each book is basically a different couple. So like book 1 is about Stella and Max who robbed the bank. Well, along their journey, they go to a outlaw biker bar in the middle of Arkansas, as one does. And so book 2 will be about Boomer, one of the outlaw bikers that helps them. And so then like you would have Boomer and so-and-so's story, and you might get like a cameo of Stella and Max, and you might have like the same bar, the same town, some of the same little characters. It's mostly their story. And then book 3 would be the same scenario. It would be 2 characters introduced in that second book. So it would be like the best friend of the girl Boomer falls in love with, and then whoever else, another biker.
I think that's a great. I have a series I'm working on where I do work on all 3, where they're standalones, but it just keeps going back in time. So you're in the same fantasy world, but each book goes deeper into time. So you learn more about like the fantasy world's culture and history and stuff, which is referenced in the main. You like talk about it, like the historical events that happened, and then you move to each one.
Like you see them as you go back.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So that's kind of the
yeah,
great explanation.
My Pantomime Horses of London, Kentucky, it started as a pilot, right? And so I only write ensembles, by the way. And so I have 14 characters all the time, and that's too many for a book, right? And so there's only 8 or 9 in the book. But I have the luxury, if I want to turn this into a series, I can go pick another 2 people, and they're all pretty much, other than the 2 leads, they all have there's one girl that doesn't have as much time as the rest, but they all have about the same amount of time, because that's just in my DNA when you write an ensemble. So had it been sitcom pilot and stay that way. It was set up to be 8 episodes. I already know the next 7 stories, but like you, they're not outlined in great detail, but they will be before, like if I write book 2, they will be before then. But I have the luxury of picking, oh, it can be about this triangle, or it can be about these two, this father and daughter, and because it's a town of these people. So in your 2 worlds, I guess is what I'm asking to both of you, is if you were you aware that might be a series? Like how much of, well, in yours they're on a road trip, so let's say how much world building did you do? And in book 2 they'll be in the new town, they'll be in where they wound up at the end of the road trip. No, what am I talking about? All right.
Nope. So I actually did not set out to make this a series. I very much did this just because it was going to be my for fun novel while I worked on, because my last one was so serious and like kind of a very angry novel. I love it so much, but it has its own place, okay? And then just being on sub with that, and being on sub is a mind game, okay? You're getting a lot of people telling you no while you're trying to work on something else. And so this was kind of, I hate to say my like stick it to the man book, but it kind of was. Like it was I'm going to do this just to make myself happy. Like I'm not writing this for anyone but me. It is completely silly. So many people who have read it, they're like, yeah, this is you. Like this is you in book form. It's your voice, it's your comedy, it's your sarcasm. And I just really fell in love with how fun it was to write. Like it's very unserious. It's very just, I say it's unhinged shenanigans because that's what it is. And so then in this, I was like, but I could do this again. Like I really liked this side character. I could for sure do a book 2 on that. And then it just rabbit holes down itself.
How about you and your series that you're working on?
For me, it was just as it deepened, it became obvious that I needed more like lore, and as the lore got more intense, I was like, well, this is just a whole nother book now, and I can't throw it in here. It throws off like the pacing and the vibes of this first book. So yeah,
So it is.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and then the same thing happened when I was writing the next one, where it's like it starts referring to things that happened further back, and you're like, oh gosh, am I gonna have to do this again?
Do you envision, either one of you, both of you, do you envision the content of book 2 or book 3 changing once book 1's out there and you have a response from the world, or you don't care? Not that you don't care, but
I have a rule that I don't look at reviews.
oh,
It's not that I like have reviews yet, but the world likes to scream loudly. And I think I mean, to some point, like, yes, you have to write to your audience, but if you're listening to every little critique or suggestion, I think it's not your book anymore. And you lose, I don't know, you lose that voice, like what everyone came for in the first place. So in my case, if my agent tells me it's wrong or an editor tells me to fix something, like, yeah, that's different. We would have that conversation. And I'm really, really lucky to have a really good core friend group that's all writers and critique partners. And obviously I have some voices in there that I really, really trust, who know me and my writing and like my goals. And sometimes they'll be like, this doesn't make sense. But otherwise, no, I'm not looking. That's not for me. That's for them.
My plan is actually to write all 3 and have them done before I even publish the first, and then rapid release them like a month or 2 apart each, just to like, I've never done that where I've done like a series that rapid release. I'd like to try it, so that's my stance cool. There. Yeah,
that's an advantage of being an indie publisher, because when it clicks, you don't have to wait a year to get the next story, right? You can release them all with, every 90 days or whatever. So on your, getting back to your Substack, do you read those? You're not going to read reviews, but you respond to people.
Yeah, like I read comments, and like I have people who reply on my TikToks or my Instagrams or stuff like that. Like, yeah, I talk to people. I love to yap. I'm a yapper. I'll yap all day long. But when it comes to like, I'm never going to go on Goodreads. That is not a place for me. And I think I know I would get my feelings hurt. So, like I'm just not going to read reviews.
What do you think about this, Matisko?
I've gotten depressed many a time looking at Goodreads, because I used to use Goodreads as like where I put the books I read, and I like to review other like small or new authors. stuff on Goodreads to give them a bit of an edge. So I often go on to Goodreads, and it's a very slippery slope from going on to like leave a good review for someone's book I liked. My questions are weird though. I have questions about what you wrote about in particular.
Go for it. I love weird.
Because
I'm a weird human.
Yeah, I'm curious about the goats. You said in the first book you picked a goat farm. There are a lot of different farms, and I was just wondering why goats.
Because I really strive to have something weird in every book. And that's the honest truth. Like this one has possum because that just made me happy. And back when I wrote Must Love Goats is what it's called, and I just kind of call it goats. Goats made me really happy back in that time. Actually, on my desk, somebody got me a little screaming goat for that book that just sits up here. My second book takes place in an abandoned ghost town, like in the swamps of Miss. There's always just something weird because that's what makes me happy. Because I'm a weird human.
And then the other thing I noticed is that when you pitched both of the books that you mentioned, grandmas are like a significant motivating force for the characters.
Yeah, I don't know why. I maybe need to do some reflection on that. Yeah.
You know, like have a close thing with your grandma, or
I don't actually. Maybe that's why. Maybe this is me like unlocking my therapy that I should do of like not. This one, a grandma, because like who doesn't want to help a grandma that got scammed? That was just an easy plot point. And then book 2 very much explores the relationship between this grandmother and granddaughter and like the contentions that have happened there and kind of finding forgiveness for each other.
Do you have that, Matisko?
Have what?
So she doesn't have, she doesn't have a close, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Kelly, but you're not close to your grandma, but then in the books, the grandma is the Yoda, right? And so do you have that in your books?
No, I think a weakness in my writing is, Kelly Beck doesn't know this about me. My mother died when I was young, so I struggle to write mother characters in general because I feel like I have a hard time conceptualizing what it would be like to live in that kind of family. So a lot of times my mother characters are odd or perhaps mean, which isn't what my mother was like at all. But it's hard for me to like put a loving mother in
that mental block.
Yeah, it's just like something I don't understand. And so that's interesting that you're putting grandmothers in your work even though you don't feel that, and that's not the answer I was anticipating.
No, I think it's just like I always say growing up I didn't have grandmas. Like obviously biologically I do, but one of them died when I was very, very young, and then the other just really wasn't like involved or around. I mean, I really just wasn't there. So I think it's my like pouring my wishes into it.
So that's like, all right, I'm not a fan of fathers, right? I don't like fathers. Never wanted to be. I'm Steve Zissou. Comes up on every episode. This is a father-daughter story, man. Why would I write that? And it really wasn't when it was a sitcom pilot, because it was all these wacky characters, right? But I never intended for this to be a series, but now people are clamoring for the next one. But this is a father-daughter story. And so when you said that about grandmas, or when you say that like with your mom because she was gone too soon, I understand that part. Well, I wonder why I did that. We need a psychologist in here.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I have a friend who's a therapist psychologist who's also a writer, and she will tell me all the time. She's like, "Yeah, your traumas come through. It's like a whole thing of therapy that you don't realize." Like, I'm like, just leave it be. Just let it lie where it is in the book. We don't need to talk about it.
Do you have another question, Matisko?
I got one. Why romance?
I think as a reader, I just love a love story. Like I read across all genres. I'll read fantasy. I'll read anything, but I always joke it has to have a smooch in it. Like there's got to be at least one smooch. Gotta have a smooch. And so I don't know. I really like love stories and romance, and so that's kind of just what I gravitated towards and what I like.
Cool.
Do you see yourself ever writing something that you, not that you wouldn't like, but like just to stretch the boundaries of you, like, oh, I can't stand historical fiction, I'm gonna try to write one?
I think I would pull my hair out if I tried historical fiction. Like the research involved in that would be a lot. Maybe like write a thriller one day. Maybe I can't promise it'd be any good, but sure. Like I would entertain that idea. But what about you, Matisko?
I've written a couple of romance. At this point, a smooch is finding its way into almost every book I write, even if romance is not the main thing going on. I'm like, well, what about a smooch? I feel like a smooch will really elevate this book and this story.
You just need a little smooch.
And I'm like, okay, we'll just sneak one smooch in there for the smooch fans, you know? I know there's some smooch fans out there. So,
I like you have a one smooch limit now.
No, there's more than that.
Yeah.
So the question I was going to ask, and I've asked Matisko this before, do you have a cause, and does it work your way into the books? There's a cause that you care about.
Yeah, I think a lot of social commentary works its way in sometimes. So, fun fact, my first book, the Goats book, the premise was something that like really happened to me. So very long story short, a professor at my journalism school had a secret obsession with me. I had no idea. And I got named in his divorce decree and like blacklisted across the journalism field. It's a wild ride. That is a whole nother tangent. But that cause of me, like all the things I wanted to say to him 15 years later, you know, now as a 30-year-old woman versus like a 20-year-old woman, definitely made its way into that first book. Second book is very much a commentary on like, you can't have unlikable female characters. Like, why does a girl always have to be nice? Why can't she be upset and hurt and angry and all these things? And then the bank robber one, it is just more funny and silly, but there's definitely commentary in it, like commentary about how we treat some girls as silly and brainless and how we view, you know, homeless in our society or people that we deem less than. So I think so. I think, yeah, maybe not purposefully always, but it works its way in.
So I read last night that if you don't have a hidden social commentary, it's one of the things that people will notice it's missing, right? And I never thought of that. But there's a reason. It's because our brains want to be part of a community and want to help other people, right? And so even if it's not hitting you over the head with a 2x4, it needs to be an undercurrent somewhere. And it didn't occur to me till last night. And I asked Matisko that question 2 months ago. And
I said no, but partially because I can't talk about politics on this show.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to say?
Yeah. And that's Kelly Beck's minor. And that's your fiance's.
I was a political science minor.
Yeah, my fiance is a political theorist. He has a PhD. That's what he does.
Sometimes I wish I knew less. I'll admit that right now.
That's a vibe. That's such a vibe.
I'm a political allergist, meaning I'm allergic to the actual word. Tell me about working in the newsroom and how that impacted your writing.
Ooh, I got very humbled getting my agent. I'll start with that. So I always thought I was hot stuff because I was a news producer. I was like, I know what I'm doing. I've done this. Like, I've done this in major newsrooms. You know, I've been nationally ranked, all these cool things. And the difference I've learned being a writer is you are a good writer, meaning like your line level is just poetry, or you're a good storyteller. I fall in the good storyteller category. Like, I can write a good story. And I think from being a news producer and having to like pace a show and, you know, figure out those hooks and like all those things that make people want to stop and watch a news program, I had that down. Like, I can write a story. But then when it came to the line level, my agent still yelled at me because all my commas are wrong because I wrote for news and it was just very different. You definitely, the whole like show don't tell argument in writing, you tell everything working, you know, writing for news. And so I had to I always say I had to relearn everything I thought I knew about writing to write fictional books, like completely scrape my brain and start over fresh.
I hate the show don't tell rule. I think it ruins people's voice like so fast because they'll just overwrite things and then it doesn't have any uniqueness to it and it's awful.
It's such like a fine line.
Yeah.
You will be glad or not glad. Screenwriters hate it, but I love it. Is for the last year, the last 14 months maybe, every time at Austin or at any Sundance, any big film festival, when Netflix execs are there, they say, now you have to tell. It's the opposite.
I could see that.
Because no one's watching one screen. They're watching 2 or 3 screens. And so you don't want to go, I'm walking up the stairs now. And but they want you to go, now that I walked up the stairs, now that I drove to the hardware store, because people aren't paying attention to the visuals. So they want you to lace your script with the tell. So that's the opposite of show, don't tell.
Yeah, it's a fine line. Like at some point it gets too purpley and you're like, I don't even know what's happening in here. But I think there is a fine line of like making everyone happy, of telling and understanding, but also not just like hitting somebody over the head, telling them, every page. Yeah. It's a balance.
It's just the easy advice people give when they're lazy and they have to say something about what you wrote. They'll be like, show and tell here. They circle it with Reading, but they don't actually think about it and think about why maybe you decided to be more direct.
Well, it's such a wide range, like show, don't tell. There's a lot in that.
I have a bit of a callback question, just because this is something that throwback to what you said earlier, because you said in the second book you have, it's an unlikable female main character.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious to know what makes her unlikable.
So she is very traumatized. She's a little traumatized baby. She has some adoption trauma to her history. She obviously has a grandma who raised her, but the mom is missing. There's some illegal substance abuse in the past with the mother and all of that. And so she feels like she's been abandoned by everyone in her life. So her coping mechanism for that is she cuts everybody off. Like she's not going to smile at you on the subway. She's not going to offer to walk your dog. And that is something that I've had a little bit of pushback. I've actually had people tell me, like, you need to give her a pet to make her likable. And I'm like, no, she is who she is. Like, she is angry and hurt and all these things. And it's one of those, she has 2 best friends that come back into play, and you see them start to break those walls down. And like, inside, she is insecure and just wants to be loved and wants all these things. But how she responds and reacts makes her unlikable. And that's who she is. Like, that's just, I think the opening line of the book is like, I've been called a lot of names in my life, and it's like cold-hearted, troubled, all these things. And then it says, none of them are true except for one, that I was a flight risk and I ran from my hometown. And so, we start that, I guess, laugh so much because I'm like, it says in the opening line, she is all these unlikable things. And then people get surprised when she is unlikable. And I'm like, I don't know how much more I could set that up. Like, she often is unlikable.
Interesting. I think it's good that you don't read reviews, because I have a book where one of my female characters is quite unlikable because she's also heavily traumatized. So
yeah,
similar plot here. And she's very indecisive. And she's the narrator, and she's incredibly indecisive. And people can't stand her.
Oh yeah.
And
I can see that.
And I'm sitting here like, well, that's kind of the point.
Oh yeah. I've had some of that. I mean, like, I don't read reviews, but I read editor rejections, and I'm like, but that's on purpose.
Yeah. It's supposed to bother you, but it's like you're wanting her to figure it out and get better. That's like what's making you keep going.
That's the point.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want the perfect female character, and it is a box.
Well, yeah, because if it was a man, it would be fine. Like, if it was the male character who was mean and unlikable, then he's just like the hot villain.
Then
and
he's
it's
grumpy,
fine.
and then she's sunset.
Yeah.
You're very open on your Substack about your first rep. Like, I'm going to fire my first rep. My first rep doesn't like me. Like, all of these things.
Yeah.
And tell the viewers the short version of that, and then tell us the other side. Because if the other side's on your Substack, I didn't read it. And I want to hear what they feel like, how they responded to being commented upon publicly.
So my representative, my agent, her name is Kathy, and I love her dearly. And I always joke that we love to fight, and that's just how we got our start. So finding representation, it was a little bit of a long, drawn out battle. I think I sent 85 queries, and it took 8-ish months for me to find representation. And it came in the form of an R&R or a revise and resubmit. So again, like I said, I got humbled. This agent, my now agent, basically told me that I needed to start over and rewrite it. And we fought because I was like, I'm not rewriting a whole book for you. She hadn't finished the book. Spoiler alert. She'd only read like 5 chapters. I was like, I'm not rewriting a whole book for you when you haven't even finished it. So we hashed it out a little bit. And I don't write anything about her without her express permission. Like, we are both very open about how we, came to be to a working partnership. And I always joke she was a red flag and she agrees, and, on and on. But I like to share that story on the Substack because I feel like if you're on the trad side, especially, you only see the highlight reel of like, oh, I got signed and my agent's wonderful and like everything is just butterfly and sunshines and rainbows. And it's always, and that's okay. Like, it's okay. And, long story short, I ended up with 2 offers. I ended up with Kathy's offer, which I obviously took, and somebody else's offer. And I took Kathy, and I always say I took her because I knew we could fight. And that's always my joke. I'm like, I knew we could fight, and we would work it out together. And it was a partnership. Like, it wasn't just going to be her telling me what to do. It was going to be, a conversation between us as like respected individuals, and we would come to an agreement together. And she's very okay with me sharing these stories. And I think sometimes it is a caution of, don't do these things. If another agent were to do these things, I would tell people it's a red flag and run. And obviously I took the deal anyway. And I'm very, very happy with where I landed, and we work well together. But yeah, it was a ride.
And get ready, call your therapist friend. In your real life, is that, do you gravitate towards people that you fight with, that you bicker with? And does that come from Newsroom?
Okay, I think the agenting side definitely comes from Newsroom of like, we fight. I say fight. We don't really fight, but like, we will have some discussions sometimes. I was stuck under a really, 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 really times 12 terrible news director. And I knew going into this agenting side, I was not going to be stuck under somebody who wouldn't hear me out and like work with me and talk with me. So I think there was some of that. In the real life, no, I don't like fighting with people, but I always joke, like, my husband is a saint. If you knew my husband, and at our church laughs at us when I say this, because I always say I married him because I knew he could tell me to sit down and shut up and I would listen. And if you know him, he would literally never in the world tell me that. Like, under no circumstance would he ever be like, sit down and be quiet. But I always joke, like, I'm very energetic and ambitious and all these things. And sometimes I might need to be told that, and that's okay. But yeah, that's always my joke. Cause like, I knew he would tell me to sit down and shut up, and I would listen to it when he told me that.
What does he do for a living?
He's an electrical engineer. He's very mathy and smart, and the complete opposite of me. Yeah.
Very, very numbery.
Oh, so numbery. And I can't do math to save my life. Like 0% math.
Engineers are cool though.
Let's do a deep dive on everyone's opinion on engineers.
Engineers, they're very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my final question is, where's the screaming kids? Like, and how do you work around the screaming kids?
Okay, well, this is the first year they're both at school 5 days a week. I'm actually in day 2 of that. It's great so far. I'll let you know. So this is kind of something I'm also big and transparent on, is like, you don't have to have the perfect, quiet 8-hour, like, perfect split, playlist and like water and your 17 drinks and your comfy chair to like really sit focused. So you don't have to have like the perfect, quiet, uninterrupted 8 hours. Sometimes you might need it for a certain scene or whatever. Like, we all obviously love that. But if you wait to write until the conditions are perfect, you're never gonna get it done. And so that's just kind of my mindset of like, yeah, I'm a mom to 2 kids, and I've been writing since my youngest was a year old. And sometimes it meant I only wrote in the 45 minutes she took a nap that day. And like, that was all I got. Sometimes I only write in the 103 minutes it takes for the Frozen movie to complete, Like, I know it feels so debilitating sometimes to be like, I only got 200 words done a day, but that's 200 more than you had. And those do slowly add up. And over time, you will have a finished book. but you've just got to do it. You can't wait for it to be perfect. You've just got to do it.
I lied. That wasn't my last question.
Okay, go.
You're very good on your Substack at teaching people things in a short and a concise amount of thing. I imagine your TV producing has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
What part of you? There aren't. Some people use their Substack to tell another story. Here's a short story. What part of you makes you want to help others and teach them things? Like, why is your Substack that and not here's another funny story when I went to Kroger?
Oh man, I do have a funny Kroger story. No, I think I really got helped when I was going through querying or like trying to figure out how to publish a book. Like, obviously, my background's in journalism. I didn't know anything about writing a book. Now, if you need me to produce a 6 p.m. newscast or a 4 a.m. newscast, like, I'm your girl. I got helped by others who were willing to like share their knowledge or reach a hand down. And that's something that I really, really aspire to do as I learn more or, go through whatever process. Like, hey, here's what I learned. Here's my inside look now on the other side as an agented author who's been on submission, who's had conversations with agents, who's, had some feedback with editors. Like, here's this information. So maybe you can get helped along the way instead of all of us just blindly stumbling through. Like, I'm big on community, not competition. I think there's enough space for everybody at the table. And if you help each other, it's a lot better than just gatekeeping knowledge that honestly you can find in a Google search. So why not share it and talk about it?
So, call to action for our viewers, Kelly Beck.
Yeah. Right now, I am on submission. And so I'm really, really just trying to prove to people that there is an audience for my books and like myself. So if you like silly shenanigans, things like goats and possums and whatever personality came through here, love a follow on my Instagram, on my TikTok. I'm pretty much anywhere. You can find me at Kelly L. Beck, wherever you want. Like I said earlier, I love to yap. I'm a yapper. You can message me, DM me, and if there are any other writers out there that want advice, I'm pretty open book and happy to help.
Send her a picture of your possum, of your pet possum.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I would die. I would love it.
But not a wild possum. We don't touch those. Germaphobe. Don't go picking up germy possums off the street just to take a picture for Kelly Beck.
They're pretty clean. It's fine.
Thank you, Kelly.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for asking.
It was great meeting you and talking with you today.
Yeah, same with you.
And we're back.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't that great? I also love a smooch. Books with smooching, 10 out of 10. Comment down below if you like books with smooching.
If you have a smooch limit.
Do you have a smooch limit?
No, but it seemed like
that was a smooch a minimum.
One smooch minimum.
Yeah, it was a minimum. It wasn't a limit.
Correct. So do you have a smooch minimum and a smooch limit?
I don't think I've written a book without a smooch. Interesting.
No smooch in the Pantomime Horses. There'll be one in book 3 that I haven't even decided if I'm going to write yet. Okay, continue.
I think it's interesting when we interview guests. You often have like a idea of the things that they're doing, and you want to talk about it. And for me, I like pinpoint things that stick out to me and like why. And so in this case, I kept bringing up like why she was writing about what she was, and you kept bringing up like strategy. So we kept kind of going back and forth in terms of like what we were looking to ask about.
Well, if you must know, I don't like there to be any bumpers, guardrails, whatever. I like it to be, because you wouldn't have that at dinner. If she was over at dinner at our house that doesn't exist, you don't go, okay, this is what we're going to talk about for this dinner. You just talk for a half hour. Yeah. And that's how I like it to be. No one will come on your show if you go, yeah, we don't have a topic. And so you got to have some topic as the entry topic. And so I think you're right. I think mine are usually our strategy. I had to think about that. I think mine usually are strategy, where yours are.
I tend to listen to what they say, and if I notice anything odd about what they've said, I say odd with all the love. So it's like, why goats? Why grandmas? Why are there 2 grandmas? Like, are we interested in these things?
Yeah, I want that to happen. 100%.
Cool.
They just don't normally start there.
Yeah, because you have to get them talking first to find the things that are like odd in all the good ways. Hey, Jon Meyers.
Yes.
Are you ready for the grossest food science fact I could give you? Yeah. Oh, I'm about to make it so you can't eat like anything ever again. You ready?
I'm eating spiders, aren't I?
Well, maybe. So, hey, Jon Meyers, how many rat hairs are allowed in your peanut butter?
12.
Okay.
In a jar and a spoonful.
I was going to say a jar.
12. One every ounce.
The answer is you can have 1 per 100 grams. So if you have like a 400-gram jar, you could have up to 4. And so these are referred to as, I want to make sure I say exactly the right thing, like an unavoidable defect in food. So it is impossible to make certain food without these level of like defect, and rodent hair and peanut butter is a very hard one to get out. The other one is it's pretty high for hold on. I have the FDA site up. So and here's the other thing. So it's insect filth. So how much insect filth, it's referred to as fragments, are allowed in peanut butter? So how many little pieces of insects?
I know in Fig Newtons it's like all insect.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the other options. So there are just certain foods that in processing it's impossible to remove all these defects. And so one of my personal favorites, though, is why I brought it up, is insect fragment, because a whole insect is an insect fragment, right? Like if there was just a whole spider in like a jar of peanut butter, that's an insect fragment. But the number is really high, so it's 30 insect fragments, because the fragments can get so small in processing, where it's like one, spider in a 30-gallon tub of peanut butter will make like 10,000 fragments, right? Like it can just get put to like such a small level, and then that'll come up when you're scanning it as like a fragment. So a fragment is better. The rodent hair one bothers me because that's just like straight up one hair. The fragment, it's like it's so incomprehensibly small, and it's been heated up that I kind of don't care. But even though that number's much higher, it's 30 per 100 grams. But, yep, so that's your gross one today.
When you made naan in your friend's kitchen, how many of your hairs?
Oh, my hair is a bad one because I shed and I got a lot of hair. Like, I got thick hair.
So how many are allowed in your naan?
In my naan, none. I'm very thorough. Well, on a smaller scale, it's easier to watch.
What if you made naan for your nan?
I don't have a nan.
How many hairs would be allowed?
I don't have a nan.
I know, I'm trying to get you to say nan, nun, and non all in the same sentence.
If I had a nan and I made her naan, I would make sure there were none.
Say that again.
I won't, but thanks.
I want to make a clip out of it.
Why? I'm not going to say it again. I said it. You can cut it how you want.
I want to make a reel out of it. On a loop.
Okay. You're free to take it if you want. But yeah, so that's the gross food science facts. At a certain point, you learn all these things, and you learn about how there's mold and dates, and it's like unavoidable, and everything you eat is just disgusting, and you just have to own that.
At a certain point, you learn these things. That's a sentence that you just said. I was today years old when I learned how many rat hairs are allowed in my peanut butter.
Yep, 1 per 100 grams, according to the FDA. Wow. It's just unavoidable.
That's less than I thought. How many grams of peanut butter are allowed in your rat? How about that?
I don't think they don't have a law, so as much as you want.
In your possum.
I don't think that's regulated. I think you're good. But yeah, do you want to ask about someone?
She's got Kelly Beck has that possum in her book, and have we talked about this on a show or not? In one of my screenplays, I have a pig, and that happens along, and so the protagonist, she takes this pig on as winds up being her buddy, right? when you give a protagonist who spends a lot of time alone an animal companion, and it gives them something to talk about. She gets thrown out of the stagecoach, lands in the mud. Oh, it's not mud, it's pig. And then she looks up and there's a pig, and she just adopts this pig. So the pig follows around through the whole movie. In Fubar season 2 with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't remember what streamer it's on, Netscape or Hulu or something. One of the guys same thing happens. He falls in the mud outside, and there's a pig. He looks up, he sees a pig, and he takes the pig through the whole rest of the 8 episodes, and never paid off. Like my pig, they're like, you don't put Chekhov's. I don't want to say the one word, but Chekhov's slingshot says if slingshot's in scene 1, you better use that slingshot in act 1. In act 3, well, Chekhov's pig, that pig better have some purpose, not just your.
Maybe people like pigs. Maybe that is the purpose.
No, it needs a purpose in the story, and so mine does. There you go.
Okay, good.
I'm happy
you found a purpose for your pig.
There you go.
So if you'd like to know more about disgusting food science things, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell icon. I thought this was a writing thing. Turns out it's a gross out Jon Meyers podcast. But here we are.
It never was until the Matisko era.
Well, I was always predicted to be evil, and so here I am. So we're on YouTube, Spotify, all kinds of places. But yeah, so that's it. But we have to deal with something first.
Baggy. Oh my gosh. I can't find Baggy.
Well, Jon Meyers, I don't know how to tell you this. She left me a note.
Oh, no.
She wanted me to read it to you.
I didn't know she was a writer.
Well, why do you think she's on the pod?
Oh.
Okay, she's filled with all those letters. What do you think she does with them?
She is full of letters.
So, she says, Dear Jon Meyers and the co-hosting crew, she has decided that she wants to go and travel the world. She wants to see things that she's never seen and get exposed to letters that she didn't even know existed in languages she doesn't speak. So she will be traveling around Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, because she would like to ride a kangaroo, and then maybe find a beautiful sense of purpose. She's bringing her children, do not worry. And they're riding a cruise on the south of South America. She says she's excited to ride a boat. But she didn't want to tell you because she didn't want you to be disappointed. But she's very excited for her trip. So that is where Baggy is. We can all be very excited. I am
disappointed.
Well, we might get to hear what she's been up to. That could be fun.
First of all, she has a pouch just like a kangaroo has a pouch.
That's probably why she's interested.
So that's interesting. But yeah, you brought her back to life, and just to leave me?
Well, she needs to have her own life and her own adventure, And I was talking to her about it, and she's like,
Oh, now you're friends.
Yeah. Well,
you went from loving her to hating her to now you're friends again.
Her and I, we had a talk, and it was just like, because she thought I had a problem with her, and I didn't have a problem with her.
Wait, in your talk, she spelled out with the letters, but you're dyslexic, and you're like, I can't deal with all these letters.
It was
how did you have a talk?
It was a long talk.
Oh, okay.
It just took some time. So right. I didn't have a problem with her. I just had a problem with how her skill set was being used, because it didn't align with my skill set,
Oh.
And so I wanted to make sure she knew it wasn't personal. And then we just kind of talking, and it talked about her dreams and such. So
her hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and so she was ready to move on.
Well, since she's a product and not an artist, she was her biggest dream. You just have her traveling the world.
Yeah.
Her biggest dream was to wind up on the Wheel of Fortune and become the board that Vanna White turns.
That's cool. But what do those Wheel of Fortune episodes have in common? A lot of travel-themed questions, a lot of vacation spot things. So she has to learn about these things.
Become the letters on the board. She has to learn about the places.
Yeah.
Author with ADHD, H.H. Rune. How about that? That's a bunch of letters. She has the Find Me series. I think we're going to be either I'm going to be or Write Better Together is going to be in book 5. Oh, and it's memoir-ish fiction. And when you're done with her book, like I have the first one, you initial it and put the date on it, and then you leave it at a bus stop, or you leave it and on a park bench, or you leave the books are not designed for you to keep. They're designed for you to leave, and it's the Find Me series. And then then people just find it, and then you open it up, it's like, oh, you found me. Now you do the same thing. You read the story, and then you leave it at a coffee shop or wherever you want to leave it. So the Find Me series and Baggy can cross paths as they travel the world.
Yeah.
There you go.
Beautiful.
It's so sad.
Why is it sad? She's living her dream.
Being abandoned.
You got abandonment issues?
Apparently I do. Apparently they're coming to light in this in this episode.
Well, to make you feel better, I'm gonna show you something.
Oh,
it's finally time to see what's inside of the fridge.
Oh.
All right, I can't hear you because my earbuds are out, so I'm just gonna monologue and then I'll come back. This is where I keep my water. And then there's some pop, but it's very old. So we don't do that. And that's about it.
Water and pop.
I can't hear you. I'm coming back. What was that?
Water and pop.
Yeah, but the pop is like more than 5 years old at this point.
And why is it in there?
Just is. And then that's for the water storage.
To take airspace up. What's in the freezer?
All right, we'll show you the freezer. Not much. We have
some
goodness. Pizzas.
The cupboard is bare.
Some vegetable egg rolls and some hash browns, and that's it.
Nope. No purple carrot.
No, that is not in this fridge. It is I told you. You got everyone all hype about what was in the fridge. I told you there was nothing interesting in it. It was just it's overflow from the fridge freezer upstairs and also my water because I hang out down here a lot.
The cupboard is bare. Very sad.
Yeah. I know you wanted dolls and things, but I don't have that. I just have water bottles.
Shrubbery. Mine is full, which I can't, there's no way I can turn all this around and open it up and show you. But I keep my freezer full. And so if I eat something, I have to replace, not necessarily the same thing, but I have to fill that hole the next time I go to the store.
That's very sorted.
So it's always full.
This is just a spare fridge. That's why it's like this. We have although our fridge upstairs is pretty empty, we need to go to the grocery store today. But, yeah. So there we go. Now it's time for the final act. I didn't have to braid my hair for it.
Did not have to braid your hair.
He asked me to braid my hair in...
Don't tell people that. It sounds weird.
It does. That's why I have to tell them. Well, you didn't ask me to braid my hair. You asked me to put my hair in pigtails. I insisted they should be braided because that's how I like to wear pigtails.
Well, honestly, first of all, I said, could you? And when I said pigtails, I thought braided.
Oh, okay. Well,
and
good.
So that I didn't think of that there are non-braided pigtails, but it was for a reason.
Yes, but that reason is no longer. I can have my hair regular, or I could braid it really quick.
Well, we had a celebrity guest.
Yes,
who couldn't make it at the last minute.
Can I know who it was?
I'm going to tell you who it is. I'm going to pull her up right now and show you. Today, the celebrity guest that we had was Wednesday Addams. Oh my God. Because today you will be playing Wendy or Wednesday.
Wednesday. Wendy.
And that was the game. And so it only made sense when I said, would you have pigtails on, I wasn't being some creeper. You would match, and one would have red hair and one would be dark, and then there would have been this weird dynamic because you're the dark one, but then we would have this other Wednesday Addams is truly dark, and then she would have the dark braid, and it would just like the whole world would have been inside out and backwards and upside down. But we're still playing Wendy versus Wednesday. It's just that Wednesday Addams isn't here. So she's real, by the way, and she was really going to be here. All right, let me get the prize.
Ooh. When I did my games, I always forgot about the prize, which is because to me, winning's the prize. I'm very competitive. I like that his chair is polka dotty. Have you guys noticed that? He'll probably cut this out, but it's like one of my favorite things when he gets up is the fact that his chair is like teal with polka dots. Like, how fun. My chairs are just like black. I wonder if it's cozy. Usually chairs that look pretty or cute aren't cozy.
Yes, it's cozy.
It's cozy? How old is it? How long does it last?
The chair?
Yeah.
$7 years old.
That's great. For like a officey chair, and considering the amount of time we sit here talking, like you're in it, decent amount.
Today,
yep,
you will be playing for.
Oh my god, is that ice cream?
A Raven's Blood Frosty. Oh my god, she handed me this thing, and I'm like, Jon Meyers, you can't hand me a cup of blood. What is wrong with you? And then so I was in the drive-thru, and I fainted, and like they had to call an EMT. Gave me smelling salts or mouth to mouth. I don't know, but man, don't hand me this. Like, I got a broken wrist here. I got a cup of blood here. Like,
where's that from? Is that like a McDonald's thing? What is this?
It's from Wendy.
Oh, it's from Wendy's? Oh, okay.
And so, see, there's Wendy, and it's Wednesday's Raven's Blood.
There we go. Okay. I didn't know who had the mashup.
There's nothing happy about this meal.
That's funny.
Because it's I forget the name of it. It's the Wednesday meal of torture. That's what it is. And so it's it has like fuego takis on it and like all kinds of food.
Did you get the whole meal or just the ice cream?
I got this and French fries because I didn't want to just go through and get this. Okay. And I don't even like. You don't know this about me. I don't like French fries.
I love French fries. That's a problem.
Like you, I'm not a fan of the Wendy's, but don't want to ruin a corporate sponsor, so I didn't. Well, the
Wendy's French fries are quite good.
Yeah, they were good. I agree.
I think Wendy's needs to stop putting artificial dyes in their food. Other than that.
They put blood in this one.
I'd rather them put blood than red dye 40, to be honest.
Well, your dream came true because they put blood in
goodness.
That one. Oh my gosh, it was quite traumatic. And
frozen blood's kind of a gross concept.
Oh, now I lost a picture of Wendy or Wednesday. She actually went. So I have pictures of Wednesday at Wendy's as well. And
that's fun.
I was going to ask her about what that was like and then have you two talk to each other, but she's not here. All right. So today, you think that's a good prize. If you get all 3 questions right, it's 3 simple questions. Wednesday or Wendy. It's hard to say. Wednesday or Wendy's. If you get all 3 right, you win this my senior picture. What a handsome lad he was.
What interesting hair.
He grew up 12 miles away from you. We're the same age. And,
definitely.
There you go. What a handsome guy. Look at those beautiful blue eyes. Look at that hair, man. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite the hair. Full head of hair. That's interesting.
I know. And so we were gonna talk about our hair with Wednesday.
Yeah, you had a whole plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a whole
Honestly,
plan.
your hair does look kind of similar to mine in that photo. Have you noticed that? Like texturally?
I had not noticed it, but you are correct. Also, apparently, we had your hair can't touch your collar rule.
Funny.
It stopped at my collar.
Just like right there.
Yeah. I was so handsome. Still am.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, where's that confidence?
I got a haircut since last week. Can't you tell?
Just one? Yeah, it looks good.
Right.
You look fresh.
Huh?
You look fresh.
I thought you said I looked French.
No, fresh.
Bonjour. All right. So
I'm ready for 3 questions.
Question number 1. Look at that cue card right there. Question number 1. Wendy or Wednesday, one of you, your middle name is Lou. Which one?
I'm going to go with, wow, it's hard to say.
L-O-U, Lou.
Yeah, what's Wendy's? I'm going with Wendy. Her middle name is Lou.
You're going with Wendy?
I'm going with Wendy.
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. Her full name is Melinda Lou Wendy Thomas.
Nice. I that one was deductive because I was like, I don't think Wednesday Adams' middle name is Lou. I think it's something weird and edgy.
Do you know what her middle name is?
No, but I can't imagine it's Lou.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Her name is Wednesday Friday Adams, which I love. I love that's her. That's something I would write. I love that. And so that was there's been so many Wednesdays, but they're all the same Wednesday. The first person that came up with that has carried across all the way to the current Wednesday Adams. Different. In the original, Wednesday Addams was a cartoon originally, right? Drawn by Charles Addams. And she didn't have a middle name, but then when they did the TV show in the 60s, then that's when her middle name became Friday. And then her name had been on and off. Her middle name had been Friday on and off during however many years ago that was, 60 years. Man, she looks pretty good for 60, doesn't she? So currently, on her current show, her middle name is also Friday. All right.
Cool.
Born in Columbus, Ohio.
I'm going to go with Wendy again. I think Wednesday Adam would be born somewhere more East Coast.
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct.
This one's fun.
Let's look up and see where Wednesday Addams was. I wasn't prepared for that. They live in the real world, the Addams family.
I know.
And so it's very possible that she could have been born in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Wednesday Addams.
Have you ever been to Columbus, Ohio? It's nice.
I have. You probably know more about Columbus, Ohio than anyone because of your food science background.
They have a good food science program, but it's not as good as Purdue's.
It is the #1 city where food trial products are launched. They go to the middle of the heartland and they launch your fruit pop to see if it's going to succeed or not.
They have a lot of headquarters and they have a lot of that kind of presence. That is true.
Finally. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. I'm just looking to see where she was born.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like...
Dude.
Yes.
You said East Coast?
Yeah.
Born on the East Coast. Grew up in she has a New Jersey background. However, in a fan-created wiki, Earth27, she was born in Crucible, Georgia.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Like, I guess they haven't whittled that down. That's fine.
Okay. Final question.
Fine. Okay, we haven't had a Wednesday answer yet, so I feel like it's going to be Wednesday even before the question is asked.
Well, now
go for it.
I don't even have to ask the question because you're just gonna you're gonna say Wednesday no matter what the question is.
No, I'll think about it. I'm giving you my prediction. I was a good test taker in school, and this is why. We're doing teacher stuff.
No, don't say that. Do you know how old? This is not part of the question, but do you know how old Wednesday is?
I mean, the age is like changed depending on like what version of it.
The current version.
Like the one on Netflix?
Yeah, the one that we were gonna have on this show.
I think next Netflix Wednesday Addams is like 16.
You are correct. Very good.
But I am not a fan. I've never seen the show. I do like the dance though. That dance sequence that came from the Netflix show, I think is
because you're a dancer.
Maybe.
Are you gonna do that dance for us? Or are you gonna do that dance for us right now?
No.
Can you do that thing where you stand on one foot and like on a pile of books or on a banister and you're on one foot?
I have pretty good balance, yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can balance most things.
Let's see you do it.
No.
It's trending right now, man.
I don't have it set up, and also I'm wearing a skirt, so if I fall over, it'll be bad.
Well, all right.
What's my last question?
One of them has a birth date of. I'm trying to figure out how to ask the question.
Why? Because are you changing it? Because I was right, and it was going to be the answer was going to be Wednesday, so you're trying to.
No, because the birth date number is obvious. So I had to switch it to the month, and so that's why I had to look up the month. All right, so. I guess I'll ask it this way. One of them has a September birthday and one of them has a November birthday. Guess which one's which? How about that? Neither one of them have a Halloween birthday. If that's what you were thinking.
I think Wednesday is November, and I think Windy is September.
Ding, ding, ding. You got all three right. What a way to you win this. You win the beautiful picture of me.
Oh, just what I've always wanted. I'm so excited.
Put that in the refrigerator.
I'm worried about the ice cream shipping to me. I feel like that could be difficult. It might ruin your painting if you ship them together. So maybe you should ship them separately like they did with all your books.
You thought that was a painting of me, not a photograph?
Well, like it kind of gives painting because it's large.
So Wednesday's birthday was Friday the 13th, of course. And so if I would have said I had 13 and 16.
Would you like to know my rationale of why I picked what I picked?
Sure.
November's a more dead month than September. And
my birthday is November 11th, as we've previously established.
You're a Scorpio? Well,
I don't know about that, but
you seem like a Scorpio. You're kind of a Scorpio. That's funny.
I have the same birthday as Kurt Vonnegut. I think we've talked about that before. All right, how do you want to end this? You won the prize.
I feel like a winner.
You said you needed a win a couple episodes ago.
Honestly,
you got your win.
Angel Lady was my win.
Oh.
Giving me my tickets. But I'll take this as a secondary win. I also liked it because it was just like trivia-y, but trivia that you could like think through. So
I don't like trivia. It wasn't intended to be trivia. I don't like trivia. But yeah, it was I wanted you to cognitively process what you did. Yes. Wouldn't it have been fun if we had Wednesday Addams here in person?
That would have been really cool. I don't watch her show though, and I would be scared to admit that.
I wasn't. She was just gonna pop on like Carrie Droven did that one day.
That was funny.
And just like pop in out of the middle of nowhere, and you would have had on pigtails, and then it would have been obvious. I don't know. All right. Well, guess what?
What?
Couldn't have done without you.
Couldn't have done it without you. You finally beat me. Do you feel good?
You got every one of them until that one. I didn't even see him. I've been doing it for 75 episodes, 79 episodes, whatever. I didn't even see him coming the other 5 times.
I'm only delayed because I'm tired from screaming Linkin Park songs.